Good afternoon and welcome to everyone who has joined us for this online engagement session. My name is Wesley Ford and I'm a Community Services Officer at Newport City Homes. I'll be leading today's session, keeping everything on track. As many of you will know, in February we held our telephone surveys with residents to give us feedback about what you think about your flat and the surrounding area. In these sessions we told you that we're looking at 3 options. This is something that we're going to look at in more detail today. We expect the session to last for around 30 to 40 minutes, and if you have any questions in regards to the proposed options, we will shortly be sharing contact information towards the end of the session, as well as collating a Q&A for circulation. It's really important that everyone has the opportunity to share their views and provide feedback in relation to the proposals for Fort Lee. We want to hear from as many of you as possible, and we really encourage you to share your views with us, but please be aware that some people may have different opinions to you. In line with our community guidelines, please be respectful towards the views and opinions of others and use the appropriate language. Normally, we would want to be out and about in the local community so you can speak to us face to face, but unfortunately, this is not possible at the moment because of COVID. So we've been trialing this new approach with the online sessions. As we've already mentioned, we really want to hear your questions, feedback, and views today. We're asking that you do this by contacting us directly using the contact information that we will share later on in the session. And so I'd like to hand over to Rachel, who will now introduce herself, and we'll then go to other members of the project team. Thanks, Rachel. Cheers.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel George, and I'm the Head of Regeneration at Newport City Homes.
Thanks very much for that, Rachel. And next up, we have Clear.
Hi, my name is Clear Morris. I'm Development Officer with Newport City Homes.
Thanks for that, Clear. And next up, we have Simon.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm the architect from Hammond's Architectural.
Thanks very much, Simon. And there are some other members of the project team that are here today, including our planning consultants, Asbury Consultants. During today's session, our aims are to update you on the survey work that we've been carrying out, share the views we've had from you about your home and local area, talk through the options we have developed, ask you for your views, and answer any questions you have about our work. We'll also be sharing a feedback survey after the session, along with our contact details for you to contact us directly. This session is focused on the work that we've been carrying out in your area over the past few months, and we really want this to be an interactive session. If you have any questions about Newport City Homes that aren't a part of this project, like questions about repairs specific to your property, we'll share ways in which you can get in touch with us at the end of the session. So I'm now going to hand over to Rachel.
Thanks very much, Wes. So, hello everyone. Thank you very much for listening to this recording. We really want to engage with as many of you as possible and get your feedback about your homes and the area and the work that we're doing. So please do get in touch with us. We've been looking at your homes and your block because we think that they may need some investment in the future. One of the key things really important to Newport City Homes that you'll hear about today is about meeting Welsh Government targets for zero carbon in our homes. Simon's going to talk us through the options in a short while, but for now, I'll hand you over to my colleague Clear.
Thanks, Rachel. As we previously mentioned, we've carried out different types of surveys to understand the issues in your block and help develop our options. The newsletter you received details the type of surveys that we've carried out in your area. Based on the survey information, we've identified some key issues, such as 1-bedroom flats slightly smaller than current space standards set by Welsh Government. Some cracking has been identified in the internal and external walls of the blocks. Damp has been identified in several properties, so further damp surveys have also been commissioned. The current energy ratings are either EPC C or EPC D, which means that the thermal performance is mid to low level, and homes may need a lot of heating. Since the online engagement sessions back in February, so the telephone phone calls that is, you made us aware that there are mixed feelings about your homes and the local area. 67% of you told us that you're either very or extremely satisfied with your home, with 53% of you not being satisfied with your home at all. The main dislikes include the size and layout of your property lack of parking, and lack of garden. Thank you, and over to Simon from Hammond's Architects.
Thank you very much. We at Hammond's Architects were appointed by Newport City Homes to have a look at your residences in Fort Lee and come up with a series of options for going forward to improve the quality of the properties and the quality of your homes. Next slide, please. So these are the sites. This is obviously photos of your homes in Fort Lee. As you can see, they're a very standard flat construction for the era in which they were constructed. The layout is not ideal in some ways and could definitely be improved. There's also issues with the public realm, which is probably substandard. It could probably be brought up to a better level as well. But generally speaking, the flats are fairly adequately constructed. When looking at the site to come up with options, we've obviously considered the key constraints on the site, the physical constraints, as well as replied to the concerns that were outlined in the consultation so far. The site itself is made up of 12 apartments. It's half and half, 2-bed, 4-person flats and 1-bed, 2-person flats, arranged in 2 separate buildings. There are 10 NCH residents and 2 leaseholders. The main vehicular access is via the parking court, which comes off Gare Road, with the shared access with the surgery and the service road behind for the cluster of shops. And then the most common access is probably pedestrian access, which is again from Gare Road and from the frontage of the shops next door. The car parking we currently have is unallocated and fairly inefficient in its layout. Okay, next slide. So the first option is obviously to take no action. This option would mean that the general repairs and maintenance would be carried out in an ongoing fashion by Newport City Homes, and that the properties would remain largely as they currently are. The residents obviously then would remain in the homes, as there's no need for them to move out because no work could be carried out, but no major work could be carried out to address all the issues. And there would be no impact on leaseholders either. Option 2 would be for a refurbishment option. So this would look to involve significant refurbishment works to your homes individually and the blocks overall. But essentially, the flats would remain in place as they are in terms of the massing of the building. The extensive refurbishment would be undertaken to meet the required standards that we need to meet. For example, Welsh Government space standards for the internal spaces and the communal spaces, as well as trying to reach our zero carbon aspirations by providing sustainable energy and heating to the homes, which would then obviously result in lower utility bills for our residents. We would work with the residents to consider whether the works carried out can be carried out whilst they remain in your homes. This may be unlikely due to the amount of work required, and we may need to move you. In terms of what we would be looking at for the refurbishment works, we would be looking at possible changes, including wrapping the building with a new external insulation system, which would improve the way the building stores heat and improve the visual appearance of the block as well from the outside. To meet the zero carbon aspirations, we would also look to install solar panels and other innovative technologies on site to provide sustainable energy and heat into the homes. We would obviously need to upgrade the current windows and doors as well to help us meet our energy aspirations. The existing cavity wall insulation would have to be removed and replaced. We would also, to meet certain building regulations and access regulations, we'd have to reconfigure the communal staircases as well, which are obviously used to access your flats, and we would be looking to provide new cycle storage. To the outside area, obviously, if we're refurbishing the flats, we take the opportunity to try and improve the public realm around the building as well. So we look to improve the quality of the green amenity space around the flats, as well as refurbish the current bin storage situation. So internally, the refurbishment of the flats would be centered around basically reconfiguring the spaces that don't currently meet the Welsh government space standards, which are primarily the bath and the kitchen areas. So the bathroom would be reconfigured. There would be small reconfigurations around the bedroom and the hallway as well, just to improve access and improve overall efficiency. And then the living space and the kitchen space will probably have the biggest refurbishment, which would be that they would be turned into one large kitchen diner room, which would provide a double aspect with windows at the front and the back, and then a better sort of distribution of space inside to make it feel better, bigger. And then we would also have a new balconies added to the outside of the building. Option 3 then would be to consider a total redevelopment of the site. So that if we find the properties require a significant level of work, and we may need to look at building new homes instead of refurbishing, if it's not cost effective to refurbish. If this option is taken forward, we would look to obviously demolish the existing flats and build new homes, in which case you would obviously have to move out. So looking at how we could redevelop the site going forward, obviously we've taken all the constraints into consideration, and it would obviously initially involve the demolition of the 2 blocks of flats. And then having analyzed the site, we believe we can create 15 one-bed apartments and 3 two-bed apartments, although that mix can obviously change in discussion with their residents. We feel that a new scheme, a new building in this area would drastically improve the street scene and give us better opportunities for better landscaping and a general improvement of the public realm. It would also allow us to integrate some sustainable urban drainage systems to help alleviate flooding. And then, of course, we would have a better chance to introduce secure bicycle storage and bin storage to the site. Parking as well, we know is currently an issue. We would look to provide parking in line with NCC parking standards in a more in a clearer way, more legible way than is currently the case on site. In order to be as fit as possible for the future, these homes would all be zero carbon, just like the refurbishment options, which means achieving the best thermal efficiency we can for reducing the need for heating and reducing heating bills for residents. This is just a layout of what a new development option could look like. So as you can see, it's a sort of L-shaped block which carries on the frontage of the cluster of shops next door. To introduce more defined parking to the site, we would have a small portion of parking to the rear of the road shared with the back of the shops and off Gare Road, and then we'd also look to extend the current parking situation from the shop fronts along to the front of the new block. But obviously we would define the entrance to the block flats away from the shops themselves by using landscaping to show which part belongs to the flats. We'd also look to create a sort of larger amenity green space in front of the blocks to add a bit of a buffer between the new apartments and the existing Gare Road. There is also a 4th option, which would be a partial refurbishment and a partial new homes option. So in this option, we would look to demolish and rebuild block 1 to 6, whilst retaining block 7 to 12 and refurbishing that. The location of the block would be moved to create an improved street scene, and again to provide more open green amenity space between the building and the road. The key aspects of this option are that we essentially, as you can see, demolish block 1 to 6, which is probably the problem block in terms of how the building relates to the road and the shops next door. By removing that, we get rid of the sort of congested entry point, and then obviously we extend onto the end of the existing building, create an L-shaped block where we create 6 new units with their own access and bin and bike storage to the rear. And then we create a large green space buffering between the building and the Gare Road itself. And again, we use this idea of connecting the existing parking in front of the shops into new parking in front of the site to help with efficiency.
Thanks very much,
Thank
Simon.
you Thanks very much, Simon. I'll step in here just to talk to you a bit more about the implications that there could be for residents and for leaseholders if we take forward any of these options. So the option of do nothing, where homes remain as they are, and Newport City Homes this carries on with day-to-day repairs and the cyclical maintenance, there would be no impact on tenants and leaseholders. It would be as things are at the moment. In option 2, refurbishment, the impact on residents would depend on the level of works that we actually went ahead with. If we could leave residents in your own homes while we carried out works, that would obviously be our ideal. That's what we would like to do. So we would look to see if we could do it this way. If, due to the amount of work we decided to do or needed to do, we did need to rehouse you, we would look to rehouse you in the local area according to your need. Now, it may be that we would need to rehouse you permanently, or it may be that this would be on a temporary basis. Until we know whether we're looking at this option, we don't know at the current time. Though obviously, if there's something that you've got strong feelings about, by all means, do please talk to us or get in touch with us about it. If you're a leaseholder and we're looking at refurbishment, we wouldn't normally carry out refurbishment works to leasehold properties, although it may be that if you wanted the same works carried out as we were carrying out on our tenants' properties, that you might be able to opt into these works. With works such as external cladding or roofs that would have an impact on the block, we would need to talk to any leasehold. We would need to talk to you leaseholders about the implications for you, because obviously if we needed to carry out these works, there would be an impact on you, but we would need to talk to you about that in more detail if this is something that we were going to go ahead with. In the option for new homes, if we were going to be building new homes here, then we would need to rehouse tenants first before that would happen. Now, as with the last option, we would look to rehouse you in the local area. We would go through the process with you with a specialist team that would talk to you and take you through the rehousing process, and you would also be eligible for compensation. Our first preference is for new homes to benefit local residents, and if new or refurbished homes to benefit local residents. And so if this were possible, depending on what else is happening in the area, it may be that we were able to move you to a new or a refurbished home. Otherwise, it may be a home in the area or elsewhere, if that's what your preference is. If you're a leaseholder and we're looking at the option of building new homes here, we would need to buy out your current home. Now, we would talk to you first about this and find out what your preferences are. We would look to buy you back at market value and follow a statutory process to do this, which we can talk to you about in more detail if that's what you'd like. We would also look to, we as Newport City Homes, we are building homes of different tenures. So if we could look to provide you with a different home ownership option that was affordable to you based on your circumstances, we would look to see if we could do that for you as well. So if, by all means, get in touch with us if that is something that you're interested in. And then with the final option, which is part refurbishment, part new build, it would depend where you were in the block as to the implications for you. So, and it would be the same under the refurbishment option or the new homes option. I hope that's given you a bit of a summary about any implications that there could be for you. Back to Wesley.
Thanks very much, Rach and Simon. Some very useful information there, which I hope provides a clearer picture to our residents about the proposed options. And for those of you who have not been able to make it to the live session today and are watching the recording, we will be sharing our contact information as we move further into the presentation, which will enable you to contact the project team directly to ask your questions, share your views, and provide your feedback. Please do get involved. We would really like to hear from you, as your views do matter and we are taking them very seriously. So I really encourage you to get in touch with us. I'm going to pass back over to Rachel, who's going to take us through the next steps.
Thank you, Wes. So we have got this consultation period open until the 2nd of July, which is this coming Friday. So if you are able to get in touch with us before then, by completing the survey that you've been sent on your newsletter, or which is available online through our website, please do so, or get in touch with us with any other comments or questions you have. We're specifically asking for at the end of this Friday, the 2nd of July, so that we can include your feedback in the report that we are putting together that's going to be reviewed by our board when they consider the work that we've carried out on this options appraisal and your feedback. By means, you're able to get back to us after this time as well. Once the options proposal has been reviewed by our board, we will look to come back and talk to you again in more detail about any next steps. This should be in August or September of this year. So we will get back to you as quickly as we can within that timescale to give you any updates on any next steps.
Thanks very much, Rachel. So I appreciate I sound like a broken record because I repeated myself a few times today, but as I mentioned previously, we really like to hear your views. We will be sharing details very shortly, which will enable you to contact the project team directly, ask your questions, share your views, and provide feedback in relation to the proposals we have shared here today. We really do encourage you to get involved, so please do get in touch with us as your views matter and we are taking them very, very seriously. So we're coming to the end of today's session, so just some final information for you before we finish. We really hope that you found this session helpful to understand the work that we are carrying out, and thank you very much for taking the time to give us your feedback on your home and your local area. As we discussed earlier, we will share this information with the Newport City Homes Board when they consider how we should proceed with work in your area. If you'd like to get in touch with us to ask a question, share your views, or provide any feedback in relation to anything we've discussed today, please use the contact details listed within your leaflet and that are also noted on the screen now. So you can contact myself, Wesley Ford. I'm a Community Services Officer at Newport City Homes. My contact number is 01633 227614. Also contact my colleague Kelsey Cantello. She's also Community Services Officer at Newport City Homes. Her contact number is 01633 227637. Alternatively, if you'd like to contact us via email, you can do this also, and the email address is listed on screen as community@newportcityhomes.com. That's community@newportcityhomes.com. That is all lowercase. Please do get in touch if you'd like to talk about anything you've heard today or ask any further questions. You can also contact us using the methods if you have an individual repair that you'd like to discuss, or if you have a general inquiry. We're happy to pass this information over to the relevant team. So that is it for this session. Thanks again for giving up your valuable time to watch this recording. We really look forward to hearing your questions, views, and with your feedback shortly. And we look forward to speaking with you again soon when we have more updates to share. So take care and stay safe.